Oftentimes in Nigeria, the more effort adopted to correct an anomaly, the more complicated it becomes. Despite assurances of supply and continuous provision, scarcity of petroleum motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, persists in major cities across the country, especially Lagos and Abuja. What we now have is black marketers who sell petrol between 350 and 500 naira per litre. In the face of this, stakeholders and marketers insist that the scarcity is far from over. As we go, some Nigerians will tell you that however they want to go about it, that government should just make it available, that they will buy. That they're already buying at inflated rates for a long time now. That we know in Abuja, it has been a very big deal getting access to fuel.
I was even talking to Tolu before coming, and I can tell you for free, it will be the government will still have to subsidize, this thing, petrol for us, because if you look at it, Ayo, the deregulation of diesel as well as kerosene. In fact, it is just this evening that I knew that kerosene is more than 600 naira per litre. Because it was deregulated. So if people are saying that they should deregulate and allow free market forces, and then government should hands off, we'll be buying fuel for almost 600 naira too. Because don't forget, it is only NNPC and some companies, or in quote, it is only NNPC. It was even recently when we had bad fuel that we knew that NNPC had some other people who we are importing. You understand? So it is only NNPC that is bringing in this product. And then the federal government is subsidizing. We will be paying about 4 trillion to subsidize in the next one. So we have to do the plus and minus. Do we keep subsidizing to maintain peace in Nigeria? Or do we allow market forces to have a play? Don't forget that we are not refining all the refineries that we have. No one is refining anything, not even one drop of fuel. Not one drop. So everything is being imported. And don't forget that we still have the issue about Russia and Ukraine. That war is affecting virtually everything. We might just be sitting in Nigeria and don't know, but it's affecting everything. The cost of gas, the cost of fuel, everything is up. Because, and wheat, even bread. Very soon we'll be doing a story on that, because that is Russia. They had the major suppliers of wheat in the world. One of the major suppliers of wheat, Ukraine. So if, for instance, we have this issue on ground, Ayo, Abuja, that we are saying that they are selling petrol for 5 liters for, I think Femi used to buy at 6,000 naira, a bit 7,000 or 8,000. It's going to go up high. We have to start looking at, as a matter of urgency, try to see if our refineries will bounce back. If our refineries bounce back, we have at least 2 refineries working. I keep asking, when they say that we have refineries, 4 refineries, and we have workers in that refinery, because those workers, what do they refine that we are paying them salaries? Do we just put people there, they are not doing anything, and then we are paying them salaries? And not just small salaries, heavy salaries.
And they are going on overseas training?
Of course they will go for training. Training to do what? To just carry paper and file. So we have to look at that. If we do not have a refinery, we will have a serious problem, especially next year. We have serious problem because refineries is what we need, and it can be done.
Definitely, the way it looks like, we can't sustain this regime of subsidy regime.
Definitely, we cannot. Deregulation is actually the way to go. But when? Is this the right time?
But when is the problem?
When? Already, look at the crisis that has happened with diesel. The high cost of diesel is even affecting the fuel, petrol supply, because they have to transport the fuel. Now, I find it difficult to wrap my head around why this fuel problem remains intractable. This poverty, scarcity in the midst of plenty. We talk about the refineries. Okay, all the money, if you calculate the monies that have been spent on subsidy for the past 10 years, if we have pumped them into the upgrade of the refineries, maybe not be where we are now. What is so deep? Why is it so difficult to turn around 4 refineries? We've heard of turnaround maintenance several times. Yeah. Maintenance that did not turn around the refineries. And they call it TAM, turnaround maintenance. So, of course, it's good to subject this to market forces, laws of demand and supply, and all of that. But the thing is, how do we do it? If you remove subsidy, now, if you remove subsidy on petrol, and then you're having 600 per liter or 500, already we're having something like that because of scarcity, 700 per liter and all of that, how will the citizens survive? How are we going to survive? Many people will park their cars, they will not drive their cars again. Some people will be walking to their offices because they will not be able to afford to take public transport. That's the issue. And small companies will shut down. Remember what has happened with diesel? Even media houses, radio stations.
Yes.
They can no longer do the 24
hours.
They can't do 24 hours anymore. This hardship is too much. We've got to do something about it. Everybody is open on Dangote Refinery. But what about and we even have modular refineries in this country.
Modular refineries can't refine
PMS. I know. Okay. Yeah.
They can't refine PMS.
They can't.
Now, with this subsidy regime, the number of the kind of debts that the nation has incurred, and when you look at even the profit revenue, we eat into over 90% of our profit revenue to offset these debts, and it keeps piling up. It keeps piling up. I know President Muhammadu Buhari does not want the average Nigerian to bear this brunt, but definitely, maybe the new administration, somebody will have to take that big decision. No, because we can't continue like this.
Of course. Is going to be the next, and I'm very sure the next government will have to take the decision.
And the government will be unpopular immediately.
Before then, they have to start looking at palliatives that will be able to lessen the burden of Nigerians. Because one, most of the cars that we have, we don't need plenty cars on the roads. If we have train walking, those who are living in Ikorodu, for instance, they don't need to drive from Ikorodu and go to VI. They can just use ferry. Those who are in Alagbado and they want to go to Island, if there's a train that will take them directly, just like what Sowolu wants to do now, if there's a train, they will park their cars.
The system should be efficient.
Very efficient. You know that, in 1 hour, you're already on the island. In less than an hour, you are back. Life becomes easy. Then you know that, okay, the money that you are supposed to spend for fuel to drive to kill to suffer yourself from Agbado to Island, you just use it and buy tickets. You have the Oyster ticket that you'll be able to pay, take your train and you are on the island. Same across everywhere. If we do that, you know that transportation has been sorted. For food, we have to also look for how we can, produce food that will be cheaper for people.
We have a caller. John is calling us from Abakaliki. That's the capital of Ebonyi State.
Hello.
Yes, John. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, and the studio. I want to make comment on your second point on the attack on Christians or not. One feel that when issues like this are being discussed, those of you who are the analysts should be very, very objective. If you check the statistics of attack, particularly in recent times, there is no way you cannot link it to be religious.
Hello, John, are you there? Okay, let's go. Before John came in.
So we also have to make food very, very cheap for people. That is, we have to, this rice production that President Buhari, started, we need to intensify on it. Like I keep saying, if we have fuel, if we have refineries, we don't need to keep refineries that are moribund. If we need to sell them, we can sell them. Kaduna Refinery had close to 2,000 staff, and they have not produced one drop of fuel. Close to 2,000, and they are collecting salary every month.
Why do you think it's difficult for the government to come up with, refineries? That building, or to encourage private participants, more like what Dangote has done, to more people should come into that industry?
It's actually a huge investment, and for me, I think it takes some level of bravery to even
dabble into that.
As Nigeria is now. Like especially when you even go look at the issue of insecurity. The issue of insecurity alone is a moral killer. But then the question you ask, why is it difficult for governments to turn around to first have refineries? It beats my understanding, honestly, because for any serious government, it's not about this government only. We had several regimes. I've not been able to do anything about it. There is no will. There's no desire. I feel there's no desire to really alleviate. A sincere, tangible, palpable desire to really alleviate the sufferings of our people. There was a time in this country that people were profiting from so-called fuel importers, were profiting, and they were importing nothing, and they were making money.
I remember
and it wasn't that some people in government were not in cahoots with these people. They knew about this. Yes. We don't just want to solve the problems of the citizens. We are just like some people are happy when Nigerians continue to be beggarly, continue to be, to be suffering.
Let's take this call. Abubakar is calling us from Kaduna State.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Oga Ayo. You see,
ahead,
Nigeria is a solid country, and you people are doing a wonderful job by informing the uninformed people. And what we are saying here, we should not take religion as a yardstick to judge whether Nigeria will survive or not. Because if some people are just judging it in that way, look at Fort Jones. Where we call Yalwan Shandam is a Muslim settlement. That time it was wiped out by Christians. But Muslims did not take it as if Christians are killing Muslims. Look at what is happening now. As currently now everything is happening. If they kill one Christian and they not.
Thank you, Abubakar. We still don't want to be promoting these narratives. It's just
criminal groups are attacking. Let's take it like that. Criminals are attacking communities.
As if it's a deliberate attempt by one religion to attempt. No.
So please, people should
be very careful.
Calm down about.
You don't just say Christians are attacking Muslims or Muslims attacking Christians. It's criminal groups, or they may wear the face of religion, but you can't tell me that Muslims have gathered somewhere and they have determined to wipe off Christians you can't say that.
Okay, let's go back to our field.
Yes, exactly. Because I wanted to say that
it's discouraging when you now move. You can't just predict some filling station, but when you just move around Lagos, you see traffic build up, you see the gridlocks, you see filling station, on and on. It's like erratic now.
The thing is, there seems to be a racketeering, let me use that word, between the marketers and the depot owners. The marketers and the depot owners that seems to be the problem now, because the costs of bringing this product to you and I is supposed to be 165.
Yep.
Abi? But now the marketers are finding a way not to make it 165 because they are in collude with the depot owners. And that is the problem that presently the NNPC, the House of Rep members and the senators who are meeting, because they are even meeting to know the daily consumption of fuel in Nigeria. Because these marketers and depot owners, what they are doing now is, because they can't sustain the 165, because they complain that the running costs,
the running
cost of even the depot itself is high now. So the best thing is they are finding ways to move this product to countries where they can make money. And so if we know how much the daily consumption of fuel in Nigeria, I think that is another thing that we can even start, one of the topics that we can even start looking at. The daily consumption, how many liters of fuel do we consume in Nigeria? There was a time even Ahmed Lawan was even asking. He said that we don't even know. If we know, then we can start doing the plus and minus. Because marketers will keep saying that they don't have enough product. But they will give them this product, they will go to Benin Republic, they will go to Ghana, because that is where they have the market.